Hi guys, welcome. It's Back Talk Live. Maybe that'll get your attention. Just the, hey. Wow, what a week. Let's see who's here. I'm so excited people are joining. Get in here. Come on, put your food down, put your wine down, whatever you're drinking. Come on in, get in here. Let's see. Hi guys, we've got Georgia watching. Janice is watching. Ohio's in the house. Hello, Connie. Hey, Barry. Maybe that'll get your attention. Dodge, Vanessa. Hi, guys. Get in here. Welcome. Wow, what a week. Let's see who's here. I'm so excited. I don't like get in here. So I just, come on. Who likes their profile? Most people don't. But, anyways, you're going to get my profile here and there. Hello, Jeff. Get in here. Lisa, hello. Welcome, you guys. Welcome. Albeth, hello, welcome. Jack, hello, guys. Welcome. Come on. So excited to have you guys here. Welcome to the show, Back Talk Live with Conservative Mama. I guess just recently, like as I'm prepping for the show, a lot of the Comey memos are being released right now. So what do they say? What does that mean? I really quick heard that Gowdy and a couple other House reps have come out with a letter saying that they basically just exposed Comey's blind bias. The fact that he decided to keep memos on Trump, but he didn't keep memos on Obama or McCabe or Lynch or any other officials that he was with. He just specifically kept memos on Trump, knowing, we all know why he did that, knowing to hope to use them later down the road. So let's see here. My husband says hello from the kitchen. That's awesome. Hello. Hi. Welcome. Good to see you. So the memos are dropping. We will definitely dive into that. I will probably have, maybe a blog up tomorrow or Saturday explaining like what I'm able to get from it all. This has been, I was telling producer Rob, who's here, say hi to Rob. I was telling him that this has kind of been a good week for Trump. I mean, the media is now being forced to actually cover a lot of this stuff that's happening that's not involving Trump, but involving like the shadiness that was taking place at the FBI. The Hillary investigation is starting to come back up. With all of these criminal referrals taking place. We've got a criminal referral. The U.S. Inspector General Horowitz has criminally referred McCabe to the U.S. attorney about his conduct at the FBI and how he misled people during the investigation of the Hillary's emails and servers. And they're saying one of the people he misled was Comey. I don't know. There's something there with that. I think that Comey knew full and well what McCabe was up to and what McCabe was doing. So I'm not buying that. I think McComey, let's not like combine them both. I think Comey is misleading the American people right now with his little book tour. The fact that he was able to sit down with the president and ask the president about the salacious dossier, knowing full well that dossier was bought and paid for by Hillary Clinton. Like, that's a shock. Like, come on, really? So that, that's just, that in itself says to me that these two guys, I think, they were in this whole thing together, McCabe and Comey. But right now we're starting to see the gloves get on because Comey doesn't want to, be indicted for anything. And McCabe, right now, this criminal referral for him, this is kind of freaking him out. So I'm hoping he talks. And throws Comey under the bus because they're kind of doing that right now with each other. Also this week, congressional leaders, 11 congressional leaders got together and they brought forth a criminal referral letter for Hillary, Comey, Lynch, McCabe, Lisa Page, and Peter Strzok. Comey, because he exonerated Hillary 2 months before she was even spoken with. Who exonerates someone before they even talk to that person? You're innocent, and you're not even going to talk to that person? Come on. Hillary Clinton, her campaign finance. So she paid for this dossier and spent millions to do it. Well, she broke campaign finance rules. And so now that's being brought into question right now. That's being brought before Jeff Sessions. Loretta Lynch, she's threatened an FBI informant that wanted to come forward on Uranium One. So she's now being brought forward too for a criminal referral, along with Andrew McCabe and Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. And Peter Strzok and Lisa Page both worked at the FBI, and they colluded together. They were lovers at the FBI, and they had all these text messages back and forth talking about we need an insurance policy if Trump does get elected. And now we're finding out that that insurance policy was quite possibly the dossier. So that's all happening right now. The news is really not covering it at all. But that is happening. I actually wrote a blog on the criminal referral brought forth by Congress, and people are like, is this fake news? And I'm like, no, this is really happening. It's just not being covered at all. So it is happening. It is being covered by me and a couple other conservative sites. So with all of that said, I'm like racing through the news because I want to get to my special guest who I'm so freaking excited about today. He is awesome, and he is someone that speaks truth. He has a way to do it. I was telling you earlier, like he has a way to reach an audience that I can never reach. And I'm so blessed to have him in this speaking, just out there speaking truth. And he was a Bernie supporter at the very beginning, over about a year ago. And he's slowly just really delved into seeking answers and wanting the truth, no matter what side it comes from. Like, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, conservative, independent, it doesn't matter. All I want is the truth. And this is exactly what my guest feels as well. His name is An0maly. I have put together a little quick intro for him. He had a video about 10 months ago, and it went viral. Millions and millions and millions and millions of views about why he was supporting Trump. And it took everybody by storm because he was able to lay out just so clearly why. And it was so truthfully stated with facts that it was hard to refute. And I think that it just launched him. It launched him into the conservative realm. People were like, oh my gosh, who is this guy? A lot of independents he's able to reach. Even liberals are like, okay, he's got something to say. He is an artist, a poet, hip hop artist. And so, Rob, do we have that clip? We can kind of show the video that went viral, and then we'll bring An0maly on. Check it out, guys.
So I registered Democrat this year to vote for Bernie Sanders in the primary. I voted for Jill Stein in the regular election. I honestly couldn't stand Donald Trump for most of last year, yet I could comfortably and honestly say I support him now more than ever. I think all of politics has pretty much been a scam for my entire lifetime. But give me your time and listen to my reasons for why I support President Trump, and he's actually doing a way better job than I thought he would do. Number one, he ended the Trans-Pacific Partnership. This is something that Bernie Sanders preached and that he wanted to do as well. The Trans-Pacific Partnership was a massive trade agreement that Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama were begging to pass through. That seemed like a complete scam to me. 2. His Middle East policy. This is the most misunderstood, and I'm honestly surprised how little most Americans know about this. Third reason, Donald Trump is destroying the mainstream media. The legendary Malcolm X had a brilliant quote about the mainstream media. If you're not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. That's exactly what's happening now. I go as far to say it's complete mind control. They tell you how to think, they tell you what to wear, they tell you what to watch, they tell you what's cool, they tell you what's socially acceptable. They pretty much control the minds of half of America, and it's not in a good direction. And don't let it have a president of the United States who's not hiding behind the mainstream media, but who's calling them out for being the phony, warmongering media that they are. That's revolutionary. The Trump administration is cracking down on human trafficking. It's getting virtually no press, but it's a pretty big deal. Over thousands of pedophiles have already been arrested in the United States. To be honest, I was a little skeptical at first when he said he was going to drain the swamp. I was believing a lot of progressive media like Bernie Sanders, the Young Turks, and Lee Camp when they said, well, it's a bunch of billionaires. How could you drain the swamp when you put more billionaires in it? Yeah, to shift the agenda of this already massive group of powerful people, you're going to need some other powerful people. People with billions of dollars that are sick and tired of the corruption and crime. That's what it's going to take. I was ending the Paris climate deal. As an environmentalist myself, this deal was literally nothing. It wasn't going to change the climate. It wasn't going to guarantee that anything was going to change or happen. It was basically one giant political circle jerk to pretend like they're doing something, but actually not do anything. India recently planted 66 million trees in under a day. 66 million trees. That's actually doing something. That's a solution. That's taking action and doing something about it. The Paris climate deal did nothing. I have good friends that are environmentalists and scientists, and they're actually doing something about it. Not like these fake politicians who get together, sign a little deal that literally does nothing, literally doesn't change the climate, and then pretend like it does. On that note, another great thing that President Trump is doing is ending political correctness. I don't have a political preference. I think most Democrats and most Republicans are completely phony. I go where the truth is. I go where the logic is. I go where the facts are. I go where the reality is. And if you look past all of this bias negativity, look at the truth. Look at facts. Look at logic. Look at reality. Sorry, I'm not sorry. But President Donald Trump, not that bad.
And there you go. So I'm so excited to welcome Anomaly, truth seeker, just bringing the truth. And I love that. So welcome to the show. Get in here. That's good. That's good stuff. So basically, I want to bring you in because obviously I love your stuff. You bring the truth. You want the answers. You don't care what side it's from. And I just really appreciate that. I want to kind of go back to your journey of what did you have a specific moment where you were like, wait a minute, this what I've been believing is not necessarily the truth. I want to find the truth. Can you pinpoint a time when that happened? Or
it's a good question. I would say in school, I always asked a lot of questions, and they always were like, "Why is this guy asking so many questions? Just believe what we say." So I knew something was fishy there, but I was also a bad kid, so I was like, maybe it was me. Maybe I'm the problem. And then in college, I actually heard people like Alex Jones back in 2008 and 2009, and I actually sampled him on a song, and he was talking about George Bush and his cozy relationship with terrorist organizations, and I was like, man, no one is really disproving this guy. So I was always like, I knew something was going on. Something was sketchy with Bush, and then Obama, I gave him a chance. I thought maybe he'd switch it up, and, it was the same old. And that's really actually why I like Bernie, because a lot of people always ask me, how did you like Bernie? Like, his policies and stuff. And to be honest, other people maybe, but for me, I like that he was questioning the establishment. He was exposing Hillary, and then he did a 180. And even then I kind of knew that I'm the type of person that I could figure out, when the lies start. But I was like, you know what? I got to watch this guy, just like you got to watch Trump or anyone, because if they start going off a cliff, you can't follow them. So I've always been kind of a truth seeker, but I think there was like a boost this year when I saw how first the media treated Bernie against Hillary, and then how they treated Trump against Hillary, and just how they treat Trump every day. And then you go down that rabbit hole and you're like, oh my goodness, they're lying about everything. And it's 10 times worse than I thought. So that's kind of my journey that I got here.
Very cool. So one of the things that you're kind of known for is you go after the media and you call them out when they're lying. And I love that. Do you get a lot of heat when you're doing that, or how do you handle that?
I would say actually I'm pretty blessed where I don't get that much negativity. I think I got a few death threats like last year, and that was a little weird at first. Now no one really bothers me except for the NASA video. I did one about like NASA and the moon, and like I just used clips of NASA, and now I get harassed by like NASA members and people whose families in NASA and people in the Department of Defense a little bit. But it's not that bad. I would say overall I don't get that much hate. I just think it's funny, as long as it's not too serious. But I think I've always I've inched my way up, and I had a lot of people paying attention when I was like 19 years old. I was actually almost as big, not as big as I am now, but very successful with like hip hop music on YouTube. So at this point, I feel like I'm ready for the world. I don't really care anymore. But it's not that bad. I would say the love is like 99.9%. And then there's some like mentally unstable kid on pharmacy pills that will probably shoot up a school at some point, or every now and then you get one of those.
Okay. Now, where would, I mean, not that you have to put yourself in a box, but where would you put yourself, like, politically? Because I know environmentally, you're left, you're left leaning, but how do you, like, explain your support for Trump with the environmental? Because I know the environmentalists out there, they're like, with Trump, how do you take a stand with them and are able to debate them on issues?
That's a great question. Funny enough, the people I'm staying with, my friends here, they're big environmentalists and big progressives, but I would say they're also like not brainwashed. They're very smart people, and they're not like so far gone where you're like, oh my God, I can't even talk to them. So, they're in their own zone, and they know a lot, but they're big on environmentalism. I am too, but I question even, the climate change science and stuff like that. I think we need to stop polluting so much, destroying the coral reefs, and, protect things as opposed to just like destroying everything we touch and ruining everything. Sounds like a bad idea, but the climate change, like, my big thing is, I'm like, we don't, like, the sun, we don't control, the ocean we haven't explored. I have a lot of questions even on the environmental side, and I find that not all, but some, they do more talking than actual solutions. And there's like a 15-year-old kid who's cleaning up the ocean. So I'm all about action. Even the environmentalists, it's like, I believe in a lot of the same things, but if you get too far into the science realm, it turns into a cult too, where they just, they're like, our scientists said this because we took a poll. And you're like, I don't know about all that. Like, what about the sun? Can you control the sun? Can humans control the sun? I don't know. I have too many questions, so I piss them off as well.
Yeah. And I think that that's something that liberals try to do. They put conservatives in a box, not caring about the environment. But I do. I care about the environment. I recycle. I love this planet. I'm a outdoor person. I hike. I live near the mountains. I'm always like, I care about this earth. And so I love it. I don't love it, but I think it's interesting that they try to label you immediately as not caring about the earth if you're conservative. And you do. I do care. I do care. So I appreciate having someone like you, that you are, you're an environmentalist, you do care, you're out there in the environment, off and exploring this planet, you're all over the place. And I think that it's awesome to have someone like you that will support Trump. Also, I loved it in your video how you mentioned the Paris Accord when you talked about actions speak louder than words. Can you just explain to some of the people watching that we're all for the Paris Accord and then suddenly we pull out what the Paris Accord really was?
I'm glad you said that too. I'm actually really glad you brought this up, because I find, honestly, like, the climate changing and humans, it's been politicized. I'm not saying the climate's not changing. I'm not saying we're not ruining it, but they've kind of they've made it a debate where they do push conservatives away, and they assume people like yourself or myself, whatever realm we're in, we don't care about the environment, because they're like, this is changing, the climate's changing, it's man-made, it's going to destroy everything. And there is science to back some of that up, but a lot of it is kind of shaky. And a lot of things, I mean, we haven't explored 95% of the ocean and half the planet, and we can't control the sun, and we don't really know what's out there. So there is a weird thing there. That's why I try to get away from that debate and just get to, like, what can we agree on? Like you said, what can we take action with? Because if we Paris Climate Accord and we're ruining things, but okay, if we're ruining things, what are we doing about it? How do we do it? Like I said in that video, India planted however many tens of millions of trees. If they could do that in 24 hours, can't we solve climate change in 24 hours if hundreds of millions of people planted trees? I think we could, but people would rather blog about it, or I don't know, write an article. And I'm not saying that we don't need them, but it's like, man, there's going to be someone who invents, if it's not me, someone else that invents it. And we just spent 20 years worrying about something that just got solved in a day. So, right. I'm all about action.
I love it. I love it. And also another part of the video that you were talking about, and I told Anomaly before he came on that I follow, like, he's very outspoken on foreign policy. And being the conservative that I am, I tend to lean more libertarian when it comes to our foreign policy and intervention in other countries. Sometimes when we intervene and we try to do a regime change, all hell breaks loose. And we don't know who necessarily is going to take over that region after the regime change takes place. We saw that happen in Libya. We saw that happen in Iraq. Literally, ISIS just infiltrated took over the Middle East. So I am concerned with what's going on right now with Syria. And I did love Trump's stance on it during the campaign. What are you thinking now? Like, how are you feeling with what happened this last week? Where are your thoughts right now with this whole Syria, problem we're experiencing?
I'll say on that too, conservatives have had bad stigma and traditionally, I think, been more pro-war, like let's just fight for our country. But it's funny now, the people I'm staying with are more left-leaning, actually, very intelligent. But they're like blown away this last week because they realized Tucker Carlson, Paul Joseph Watson, Alex Jones, Cassandra Fairbanks, the people that are anti-war are actually all either on Fox News or conspiracy networks. So it's kind of changed my whole perception of my friends where they're like, wow, you were right. Like, it's the liberals who want war now. And it's like some left-leaning people that the liberals hate, the ones that are smarter than them, they hate on them and they're anti-war. And then it's people like Tucker Carlson on TV and conservatives doing the anti-regime change. So there's even been a flip in foreign policy. That used to be one of the weakest points of like, a way to dupe a conservative. Like, you can dupe a liberal very easily with social justice or something. So conservatives used to be like war, war, war. And honestly, on the biggest conservative pages, most people were not buying it or at minimum questioning. So I got to give it up. I mean, the conservative movement in America is really leveling up, and the liberal movement, my personal opinion and analysis, is leveling down. So, I mean, you're good. You're right to think that way, and we should question it. And there's weird stuff going on. People funding rebels who are rebels, who are these terrorists, are taxpayer dollars funding them. Some people say so. So we should question. And, Trump's strike didn't kill anyone. It hit a target. He didn't go full into Syria. So I'm not running off the bandwagon like, but it's a tricky situation. And also, our currency is being devalued. China launched the petro yen to rival the petrodollar, and our whole economy is run on that. So, everything's fun and games sometimes, but there's going to have to be some tough decisions being made for America. So that's worth thinking about.
Yeah. Are you concerned about Russia trying to flex its muscles right now, or do you think it's just all show?
It's tough because the media, and especially the liberal side, has destroyed any like valid argument. Everything's Russian. You're Russian. I'm Russian. Every news is Russian. They've ruined everything. It's hard to even talk about. So to the extent that they've done it, absolutely not. And I think they're trying to pin Trump. So if he does work with Russia, he's working with Russia. It's like, so we work with China. We should work with everyone. So I don't think to that extent they're totally manipulating it, but I think Russia is a threat. China's a huge threat. And the fact that they're working together is a huge threat. Yeah. The fact that Iran is in Syria is something to think about. And that's something that anti-war people don't want to talk about. I'll at least consider it. That's why I'll say my piece, but it's easier to just yell and be like, I know what's going on in Syria. I mean, Iran's there, China's there, or Russia's there. China and Russia are working together to ruin our economy. I think they are a threat, but not like a fake news propaganda, not the threat that the liberals took it to. They kind of ruined the argument, kind of like they're ruining every argument, but Yeah.
My question is, I'm wondering what the long game is for China and Russia together. Like, what are they? I know that they're colluding, but what is the end game? Do you have any perception there of what you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's to be a superpower. Like, you listen to Putin talk. If you actually listen to him instead of what Rachel Maddow says about him, you realize that he's smarter than all of them. That's why they don't want to talk. They don't let him actually speak. But he's very intelligent. He's kind of like a better spoken Trump. I'm not going to say smarter than Trump, because that's a knock to our president. I trust him and I like him. But he can cater to liberals more than Trump can in a way, and he's like finesses his words a little more, kind of like me. But he's he always says U.S. is a superpower. We're not a superpower, but I'm sure they want to be a superpower. China wants to be a superpower. So if they could fizzle out our economy, I mean, I don't know. We have a strong military, but I think they're creeping up on us. It is a threat, and it is something to think about, but it's just not the way the media they've kind of like this stuff I'm talking about, you'll never hear on MSNBC. They're not going to talk about petro yen. They're like Facebook ads. A Russian kid ran $10 of Jesus loves Trump ads. And you're like, oh, wow. Like Anderson Cooper spends a week on it. It's just pathetic.
I did a video on that a while back about how of course I was parroting a liberal, but I was just strolling through Facebook and suddenly, oh my gosh, I became a huge Trump supporter and I was all for Hillary. And then suddenly I saw a Facebook ad and I converted.
Yeah.
So
that's how it works. I mean, one ad that says Jesus loved Trump that they market to Bill O'Reilly fans, that'll really shift the whole election.
No, and you know what? I mean, a lot of Russians were they were holding anti-Trump rallies. So what they were really trying to do is they were trying to get anti-Trump people fired up and Trump people fired up and just stir the pot. And to be honest, when you think about it, how divided we are right now, of just like they kind of succeeded, which is sad because I mean, I have people that won't talk to me because I support Trump. And I mean,
absolutely.
The vitriol right now is ridiculous. So I feel like in a way they kind of succeeded, which saddens me because you know, we should stick together as Americans. United we stand. So
yeah, you're right. Definitely, you know, they tried to sow discourse. That's what they did. Fired up both sides, and it's honestly what the media does every day. So they just threw gasoline on a already raging fire. So you're right.
Okay, what are some news sources that people watching like that you find pretty accurate, or are you skeptical of every single thing you read?
I'm skeptical of everything I read, everything I hear, especially the stuff I put out. Like there's most of like the woke pages, you know, they post picture comments and it's like the person's not even really saying it. Like people have no regards for accuracy. So I question everything and I'm skeptical of everything, but people are usually surprised too. Like I like Alex Jones a lot and people say, oh my God, but it's like, I'm skeptical of him as well. I just find that like, he goes deeper than most people and he talks about things people don't want to talk about. So I don't agree with everything he says. I'm not him. You know, what I say is not what he says. But I mean, he just goes deep, like people like David Icke. I like Jimmy Dore, who's left leaning, you know, tells the truth a lot. I listen to everyone, but I'm skeptical. Tucker Carlson on TV. But I'm listening to everyone, skeptical of everything. But I think if I had to pick one, I would say I like Alex. So don't kick Alex off YouTube. Okay. Leave him alone. Stop suing him.
All right, there it is. I've got a few questions. This has been an ongoing question since you come on here. They've been wondering what you're eating. What are you snacking on?
A banana. I was just trying to raise health and good awareness. So I
okay, good. I actually have
something else would be rude, but eating a banana. Oh, there you go. You should just whip it out. It's never a bad play. Yeah. So these are the mini bananas. You find these, you know, on certain islands.
Oh, wow.
See, like
he's on an island right now. I love it. Let's see here. They're talking something about are UFOs time machines or spacecrafts?
I mean, I don't even know where to start with that one. Are UFOs space machines or time craft? You're gonna have to ask Elon Musk that. I don't know.
That's a random one there. Okay. Oh, banana one. They're very excited. They were betting banana. I saw marshmallows. There's a few bets going on the feed. I love it. Oh my gosh. Oh, thanks. They love us both. Someone said, Cincinnati's here. Let's see here. Fake news without verifying. Yeah, you have to verify every source. And that's what I do when I write too, because I've been blogging for since 2012. I've been blogging long time. But I always think that you have to have a few sources. Like you can't just, if one source says it, that doesn't make it true. Even if ABC News says it, or your nightly news or CBS News doesn't make it true, you need to verify multiple sources. And then also, I think it's important for people to realize who's backing these sources. Like, where do these sources get their money? Because a lot of these sources are globalist owned. And so if they're globalist owned, they're coming at you with a narrative. And so it's very important, I think, for people to know who's being funded, where's the money coming from. Do you find that?
Absolutely. And one thing I've been talking about this year that I really noticed is they don't even try to have multiple sources. They'll say an anonymous source, Washington Post, anonymous source from the intelligence community. first off, they pretty much are the intelligence community. So they just ask their friend, like, what's your opinion of Trump? And he's like, I hate Trump and he's racist. And they're like, breaking news. Trump said shithole countries. And then everyone's like, oh my God. And then CNN reports that New York Times reported that Washington Post reports that his friend said, like, that's literally the state they're at. And people they think they see Washington Post and they're like, oh, that's official. But they're giving each other Pulitzer prizes. Someone from the Washington Post gave the Washington Post a Pulitzer Prize. Like, I'm going to give myself an award. I'm the best blogger 2018. Like, it doesn't, I mean, they're so lame. But yeah, it's total. They don't even try to have sources. It's all opinion. And it's just straight up, like, it's just getting weird out there.
Yeah. And I mean, it's also, I mean, Bezos owns the Washington Post, guy that owns Amazon, which pretty much owns everything. I mean, he hates Donald Trump. He hates him. So obviously you're not going to get like lovey-dovey posts from the Washington Post on Trump. It's just not going to happen. So people, I just hope that people are aware of what sources that they're placing their bets on, because a lot of them are not.
Totally. Yeah, and they have a huge bias against conservatives, against like, if, you know, 100,000 people could kill someone, but if it's not the narrative they want to push, like this race killed that race, they're just not going to talk about it. I talked about Sweden and England earlier. They're those people. They're like afraid to report the truth if it's not a certain race. To me, that just seems kind of racist. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, it's more racist to like pander than it is to just say it like it is. If this race kills that race, just say it. I mean, try to save someone's life. Like, they do that.
Yeah. I love what you were saying. I watched a little bit of your live feed earlier and how you were talking about what's going on over in Europe. And it's terrifying that they're basically disarming citizens. They're taking away people's knives now. People have no way of defending themselves. And then they're letting people in, refugees in, that do not at all want to join the culture there. So it's getting ugly. And like, people are, I'm really actually very worried about Europe. I mean, so I loved what you said. I thought it was very insightful and once again, the truth.
Yeah, it's a good like barrier for like where we could be. So, I mean, I hate to throw Europe under the bus, but like we could watch, like if it really gets bad in 5 years, I hope it doesn't. But then like, will people be like, hey, like maybe we shouldn't take people's scissors and knives away? It's like, hopefully we save ourselves some trouble. Right.
Seriously. All right. Any more questions here? Will An0maly run for president?
Nah, maybe when I'm older like Trump and I don't care anymore, but not in the next 40, 50 years. If I'm blessed to live to that age, I might go full savage, but by that part we'll be on Mars or something. No one will need me.
Full savage. I like that. I like it. Let's see here. But let's see, sometimes they're talking amongst each other, so I can't, let's see who else. They're just both of us. Yes. Okay. I don't hear anything from people in Europe or Canada. Well, I know, what do you think of Canadian? They have a pretty strict immigration policy though. And we don't talk about that because they do. Yeah.
It's tough too. Cause like all the news is very biased. So like, I know just with my own eyes and living in America that any liberal or progressive media won't talk about certain stuff if it doesn't fit the narrative. Progressive left media is a little better, but in Canada, it's kind of like here. You can go to the United States, talk to 20 different people, and you'll hear 20 different things. The healthcare is great. The healthcare sucks. Trump's amazing. Trump sucks. So they're like, everyone loves healthcare in Canada, or like everyone loves Justin Trudeau, or it's perfect. It's hard to really gauge based on what people say, and I don't live there enough. I'm sure it's fine, and like I don't think these are dire problems where everything's going to melt down. But I mean, you make the same mistake, long enough, and especially in Sweden or Germany rather than Canada, it's bigger, where you only have a couple million people or however many, and then it's just a math game at that point, I would think. Right.
And I love it that our president wants to protect Americans, and that's what we keep forgetting is the primary role of Donald Trump is to protect American citizens. And when you study his policies, that's literally what he's doing, wanting to secure the border, wanting tax reform, repealing Obamacare mandate. Like that's putting Americans first and putting America back at a place where we can actually compete on several different levels. So that's the role of a president. And, he's not supposed to be your pastor or your priest or your rabbi. He's supposed to protect American citizens. That's what he's supposed to do. And that's what he is doing. So actually, he gets an A+ for protecting Americans because he's actually implementing policies right now that put Americans first and protect American citizens. So that's what I have to say.
Yeah. And I mean, he's talking about stuff no one wants to talk about. And I understand why people might get offended. Like, yes, like me personally, I wouldn't say it like that, but like take out, like, it's not about me or your feelings. No offense to people. Like, I get people have feelings, but what did he actually say? What's the truth? People can't do that. So they're like, I'm offended. And it's like, yeah, but like 99% of what he's saying, the basis of it, when you take out all the fanatics, he's doing stuff that the president should do. And like the left is just, I mean, you know, not going to do it. And most Republicans aren't going to do it, you know. It's like, I mean, it's definitely a necessary thing for people, but everyone's minds are all over the place. I hope we could reel it back in and just start talking.
Right. I think a lot of people are letting their emotions for Trump, what he tweeted out or what he said, or personal feelings for him, cloud their judgment on policy and legislation. And that's what I always want people that follow this page to come back to policy and legislation that's being implemented, because you have to set your feelings aside and you have to think, how do we solve this? What policies are being implemented? What legislation is taking place? Let me put my feeling. Okay, I don't like what he tweeted out. It's so rude. And he's attacking that person. And you're letting your feelings cloud what's really what the end goal is. And his end goals are really for the betterment of American citizens when you start to really study the policies that he's implementing. So my hope is that people are able to rid themselves of those emotions and those feelings that are like, oh, he's just immorally, he's this, or he said this, or he, whatever. He called this person fat. I don't know what he's. I don't know. I don't know what he's going to tweet tomorrow morning. I don't. But I do know what he's fighting for, and he's fighting for us. And so I hope that people at some point will be able to see past it. And that's kind of what I'm trying to get done over here. So
it's tough because I think by design now too, you turn on CNN and it's kind of like a reality show. They're like watered down TMZ, like MTV when it sold out. They're pandering to the fact that like people are brain dead and they care about what reality stars do and porn stars, whatever. So they're like they have this unlimited plot of like James Comey signing a book and Stormy Daniels did that. They're going to mislead people into oblivion because no one cares about policy. No one cares about the truth. Everyone cares about what like literally doesn't matter at all. So they have a good system there. And, it would be nice if people were like, hey, like maybe we shouldn't murder millions of people. And like, I don't know, like if you don't know about it, people aren't bothered. Like it's okay that Obama did all that stuff because like I never heard about it, but like Trump told me that we're doing something and I don't want to know about it. Like that's the whole vibe I get from people. Like I don't like his character, but it's like, so you're okay with all this bad stuff happening as long as they lie to you? Like people love to be lied to, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I mean, amazing to me. A lot of liberals have no idea about the scandals that took place under Obama or about the countries that Obama was bombing while he was president. But we know every single scandal that's taking place under Trump scandal, and we know every single place being hit or possibly being targeted. And we're not bombing right now, but we are, we're strategically taking out chemical weapons plants. But I mean, we know every single thing that's happening there, but most people, when you said, well, let's talk about the countries Obama bombed, or let's talk about, what the scandals, the IRS scandals and Fast and Furious. And I mean, gosh, let's talk about all these different scandals that took place under Obama. They don't even know. They think it was just 8 years of bliss. It's amazing to me. I'm like, be informed.
Yeah, you're right. And, I want to say too, when Obama was bombing, because people are like, Trump's bombing a lot too, but like, when Obama was dropping all these bombs, ISIS was taking over everywhere. So who was he bombing? They don't even have an air force. He's dropping all these 26,000 bombs and they're taking over major cities. Was he bombing civilians? Or I don't know. Trump was dropping a lot of bombs, but ISIS disappeared. So I would say that. And also, An0maly, based on your social media background.
I've got a question for you.
It's a question from that. Based on your social media background, what have you observed with conservative suppression? That's a good question. I've worked in social media for like 7-8 years. That's pretty much what I've done to hustle and make money after, college and doing music and stuff. It's very, very lopsided. The tech companies are, in my opinion, extremists. Like Jack, I mean, he tweeted a article that said the Civil War and, you know, Democrats are going to win. And you're like, dude, you own a social media platform and you're talking about the Civil War. They're so extreme and they're so in their bubble, and I see it. I talk to people, good people, but like, it's like people like love to hate conservatives. They'll be like, I wish Florida didn't exist because there's too many Republicans. And you're like, oh, that's pretty dark. Like, you don't even know their policies. So, I mean, the suppression on social media is at an all-time high, and they have these little tricks. I've kind of mastered them. That's why they don't really bother me. But, you know, they find something out of context. You said, like with Alex Jones, he said Sandy Hook. He talked about it, you know, questioned it, conspiracy theory, lawsuits, hate speech. There's all these little things that only apply to conservatives or someone they don't want to talk, and not to themselves. They can be as hateful as they want, but they use little, like, it's almost like, I don't want to say rats. I don't know if that'll offend people, but like, you know, they have little ways like hide behind a lawyer and get you there. They're like total phonies. Like, it's not like they ever say like, this is wrong. They can't disprove you. So they have to like hide behind lawyers and go try to get their funding. Like, oh yeah, we're going to take down, now they can't be on Fox. It's like, they're so pathetic. It's just like, debate, put a Sean Hannity, Rachel Maddow debate. Let's see that. That's an idea right there. That'll be the #1 show on TV. You're welcome, Fox, MSNBC.
There's so many debates that I would love to see take place. Oh my gosh. I do want to see, you've been saying you want to debate Ben Shapiro, and I would like to see that.
Yeah. I do. I keep poking because, you know, I know he's busy working for the deep state, so he doesn't have the time to, you know, he's working for deep elements. That's why when Syria gets struck, you know, he's happy. And when they're going at Trump for the Russia collusion, you know, Ben's on Twitter saying, yeah, I think he might have colluded with Russia. And then, you know, when David Hogg is posting pictures and videos, he's like, take it down, it's a conspiracy theory. So, you know, deep state Ben Shapiro, he's busy, he's very successful. I know he's above me in a lot of ways as far as like reach and stuff. So I know he's busy, but, you know, I think people think he's unbeatable and undefeated, and I'm ready to make conservatives realize that he's not the real deal. A lot of them know that. They say, you know, you go on the Donald Reddit and they're like, man, Ben's a phony, he's a globalist. And then, you know, liberals, I think, will like me a lot more too, because I'm not as hateful towards like transgender. So, you know, I think I'll just totally just sweep.
I love it. Let's call for it. We should have like I don't know, GoFundMe or something to raise money to hold an event where we watch the two of you guys go at it. I would love to see that. I really would.
We have mutual friends, and I might end up doing a little tour here soon. So, you know, it's like I'm going to get to the point where they can't ignore me, but I'm enjoying the island for now, because even out here, I got recognized a few times, and I'm on an island with not that many people. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not in a rush to get there, because once I get to Ben's, then I get all the low energy crabs. I'm not saying Ben's got a really like smart followers. He's a really brilliant guy. I love Ben Shapiro, by the way. But you know, then everyone's it's gonna be like a nonstop media storm, and I'm really not looking forward to that. So I'm not in a rush, but we'll get there. I'll debate him, and I will dethrone him. So
dethrone him. This is like Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
There we go.
But then we'll go out to eat if he wants to, or not. Maybe he's got a deep state meeting or something. So he might be busy after the debate.
It's on. Do you hear this? It's happening. Okay. Well, I would love to talk longer, but I'm already like way over on time. So An0maly, thank you so much. Where can people find you? Where can they find you?
They could find me. See the banana? Just letting everyone know. I got another one because they're small. They can find me on Instagram at Dream Rare. That's DREAMRARE. Dream Rare on Instagram. Legendary Energy on Twitter. My Facebook page is facebook.com/An0maly Music. You're not going to be able to spell that, so I'm not even going to try. Legendary.vision is my website, or just you might find me creeping on someone's page. You might scroll on someone's page and see my video, and your parents might be fighting over it, or your kids. I'm out there.
There you go. And you can also fund him. He's got a donor box, and you know, we are donor, like we're viewer funded basically. So absolutely. People like An0maly, people like me, awesome to have you guys support. So
that's how we eat.
Yes, gotta eat more than bananas, hopefully.
That's it. I need more money. No, that's my scheme to get more money. I need more money, guys. That's all I got. No, I'm good.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I apprate it. Thank you.
For having me.
All right, you guys. So that was Anomaly. Awesome to have him on. So thankful for it. Definitely a truth seeker, and we need truth seekers. We need people like him out there fighting for the truth. So I know I've kept you guys long, so I'll close it out soon. To end this awesome show, I just want to close out with my mom moment of the week. It actually happened just a couple hours ago when I was putting my little 2-year-old down to bed. She was getting, she's all like wanting to be independent now. And she's like, let me do what I want to do. I'm 2. So she's getting on her like onesie and she's trying to zip it up. And she needs my help. So I end up putting it on. And then she goes over and she gets like, she likes these tutus and she wants to put a tutu on. I'm like, you don't need to wear a tutu. Let's not. And then she's like, no, I want to wear it. So I let her put the tutu on and she wants to put another tutu on. And I'm like, look at this outfit you're wearing right now. And I'm thinking to myself, such a free spirit. And I absolutely love that she doesn't care. She doesn't care what she looks like. She's got a, onesie on, couple tutus. She's going to bed, calling it a night. And I absolutely love just the carelessness of what, I don't care if mom thinks this is a dumb outfit. I don't care. And I think that we need to have that attitude more as conservatives of like, I don't care. I don't care if you're going to love me or you're going to hate me. I'm going to speak the truth. I'm going to go after the truth. And I'm just going to tell it like it is. And so I really think it's important for people to just stop worrying about what people think of you. And once you're really able to do that, you're truly free. It doesn't matter what people think, as long as you're speaking the truth, as long as you're speaking out for this country and just telling it like it is. And sometimes it's hard to do that. But at the end of the day, I really believe, like I keep saying on the show, truth sets you free. And I think that when people discover the truth, there's like this moment and then you crave it. And then you like need more of it. And you're like, well, what else have I not known? What else have I been lied to about? Like, I need to know what's really out there. And so it starts with not caring what people think or say about you. And so I wanted to share that tonight. So go out there and just, who cares? Who cares what people think? Be yourself, be true to who you are. And that's it, guys. I appreciate you guys watching and tuning in. Thank you so much for your time. You can always donate at Patreon if you'd like, once a month, or just my PayPal account. We'll drop those in the links. Thank you to Rob for producing the show tonight. And thank you guys. We'll see you next Thursday. Bye.